All right. YouTube is live. Excellent. Instagram, go live. Come on. Oh my God. All right. Let's do Substack first then, since Instagram is being slow. There we go. Instagram's going live. Substack. Grab the copy stream. Boom. There's Substack. 4 of you already. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Okay. Substackers are there. That's good. Discord is good. All right. Good. And I've got YouTube. All I've got left is TikTok, and I'm good. Actually, TikTok's ready to go, too. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, TikTok's ready to go. Let me hit the on button, and we're good. Okay, we're really going to whine for water right now, honestly. Let me see if she's got water. I think she's got water. We're being extra difficult today. Oh, my God. Hello, guys. I can't believe this. You should have water already. Here. You're fine. You got water. Don't be a jerk. Yeah, no. She's at her food bowl wanting food, of course. She's got water at her food bowl. She wants food. You know, the usual. She can come, you can come over here and I've got lots of little treats to give you. You know that, right? I've got the bowl of bribes for the dog here today, as always. Oh my God. Anyway, come over. I hear you. She knows. God damn, that dog is smart. She was being especially good today, not whining at all. The show just started. She got up from her nap and walked. Now she's walking around whining because she wants food. Because she knows during the show, I bribe her to try to keep her quiet. And she knows. So she's like, this reminds me, my sister's dog was this way. My sister's dog, Carmela, who is a fabulous dog. But Carmela, she had told me once, she goes, oh, take her outside and make sure she poops, right? And make sure she actually goes to the bathroom. And I said, okay. And she goes, no, but you've got to like go up and really look to make sure she pooped. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I give her a treat when she poops, as a to convince her to poop when she goes out. And she said, and what she started doing is she goes out, she squats down, doesn't poop, and then comes in the house for a treat. And she learned that if she just squats, my sister would fall for it and think she was pooping. I was like, my God, that dog. Very smart dog. I mean, annoying as hell, but very smart dog. And mine is in a similar category. And like I said, now we're doing the whining. Why don't you come over here? Here, come here. Come on over here. Come over here. Come on over here. Here, I got you. Let's come over here, okay? All right. You want to say hi to everybody too while we're at it? With your little cone of shame and your very sad eye? Up. There we go. Okay. We'll do a quick hello here. All right. All right. We'll say quick hi. I know. Oh, my God. We're whining because we hate being picked up and we simply want to be on the floor and eat stuff. All right. That's what you want. Here, why don't you go sit here? All right. Yes, I will give you a treat. Look at that. There you go. All right. We've begun the treats, except we're doing these very slowly tonight because I don't feel like feeding my dog 10 meals. Anyway, good evening, guys. John Arvos is here. Happy Monday. I had a busy weekend. I went to Trump's Great American State Fair, or whatever the hell it was. Thank you, son, for the gift. It was bad. It was very bad. My video got like 3 million views on Facebook. I think it got 1 million on TikTok. No, did it get 1 million on TikTok? I don't think it got 1 million on TikTok. Did it? It did very well on TikTok too, but on Facebook, forget it. It exploded on Facebook. I don't think I've got TikTok on my. Oh, maybe I do. On my other iPad. Let me look. I just want to see like what my try because it was. Oh, hello, it's Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Where's my? Hang on. Oh no, I only got 130. This is sort of classic. Oh no, 2.3 million. Yeah. I got 2.3 million on TikTok. Okay, that was pretty good. I didn't realize it was that good. That was pretty good. That was actually pretty good. Yep, 2.3 million. for Trump's pathetic fare. So that was pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah. And I got like another 3 million on Facebook. It was very bad. Oh, she has me very well trained, Chris. It was really nobody. I'll tell you, it's part of the show we're going to talk about. I will talk to you about that. It was very bad, but we'll talk about it as we go on here. But anyway, guys, welcome. We've got a lot of news. I did get a haircut today. Yep, my hair was driving me a little nuts. Summertime with Greek hair, summertime can be annoying. It just gets too puffy and curly. I mean, I like the curls, but it just gets too puffy and annoying. But she did a good job. I wanted shorter, but she did a good job. It's funny, though, because my hair spikes when it gets short. It's always done this. So I get like spiky hair. But it'll grow out and be curly again. But it just was getting annoying. Anyway, so welcome, everybody. Anyway, you guys know the way the show works. I do this for a living, so I'm always begging you for gifts because your gifts help pay the bills. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Otherwise, what is that? That's weird. Otherwise, keep the gifts coming. I'm going to pull up my notes. Doggy, I hear you. I'm going to pull up my notes and we will get rolling here. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Opa. I will also say that Donald Trump's fair this weekend is not only one of my best viewed videos of all time. I made the most on that video than I have on anything in my entire life. Not anything in my entire life, but any video in my entire life. I made more on that video. I just went and covered the fair. I was like, you know what? I'm going to the fair. My friends didn't want to go. I said, I'm going. And I went and I covered the fair and made, like I said, more on that damn video. Oh, thank you. Was that Carol? Who did the, Carol's doing the Sasha gifts. Thank you, Carol. Who did the penguin was Sadie. Thank you, Sadie, as well. Yeah. So thank you, Donald Trump, for that as well. Because I don't always make a ton of money here, but I made a ridiculous amount of money on that video. Trump had a state. Oh, God. Trump. Okay. We can start with this. Trump had a state fair this weekend, or he's doing it over the next week. A great state fair. Now, America has a history of doing state fairs, and they're really neat. I mean, I've never been to one, actually. I've seen videos and they're really cool. And they're about the state, like different states, states that are more farming states will have, for example, first of all, they have lots of food, but the food is typical food from that state. And it's usually really good, bad food, like fried Snickers bars, like Snickers candy bars. They dip them in batter and then fry the entire thing in oil, right? I know I've never been to any of these guys. They'll fry them in oil. I saw pizza that they did this with. They took a slice of pizza, dipped it in batter, and then fried the pizza in the batter. Fried ice cream. They fry everything. Fried ice cream. The thing is, I was going to say it sounds gross. It doesn't sound gross at all. It sounds deadly. Oh, I think it sounds fabulous. Garita, are you kidding me? It sounds amazing. It also sounds like it'll kill you, right? But it's amazing. I mean, a fried Snickers bar? I'm not really into Mars, but I would try a fry. I'm like salivating talking to you. Amazing stuff. I do. I've got to start going to some straight butter. I was just going to say, Iowa's the one with the cow. I was just going to say, some of them have like a giant cow carved from butter. Thank you, Cindy, for the 4th of July gifts. Appreciate that. It's Iowa. I didn't know it was Iowa. They've got a cow carved from butter, a life-sized cow, and it's all butter. Fried dough. I mean, it's fun, right? Well, this one was pathetic. This one, no, I'm trying to remember. I didn't actually go. Did I go on Saturday or Friday? I keep forgetting. I'm already forgetting. Did I show you guys this on Friday night, or had I not gone yet on Friday? I can't remember now. Was it Friday? So I did show you guys the video Friday night, right? I showed you. Okay, good. I was afraid I didn't go. It was terrible. Nobody showed up. And the more I was thinking about it, because people were talking about this, the more I was thinking about it. This is our 250th anniversary. Actually, I'm going to show you something. All right. For the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of our country, 1976, there was so much excitement. Thank you, Diana. There was so much excitement about it. And I mean, like so much excitement. I did all sorts of things. One of the things I did, I sent away, because it has my old address on it, not that it matters, but still, I sent away for first edition, first day of issue bicentennial stamps. And you sent a self-addressed stamped envelope, and they would send it to you, and you can see they're stamped first day of issue, July 4th, 1776, and they're really neat stamps from Philadelphia. Show you guys too. And this was addressed to me at the home I grew up in. And it was really cool. And this is the kind of stuff we did for the bicentennial because it was really cool, right? I bought coins. I bought like proof sets of coins, like coins that were issued, 1976, but the proof sets that are really pretty. And they're not, I mean, I've still got them. I can show you guys. I'll try to drag them out of the drawer. They're not worth, I forgot what they're worth. They're not worth a ton. They're worth $50, $100, but they're really pretty. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate that. But they're cool. This is the stuff we were into. I looked for it and I can't find it. It's buried somewhere. On that day at noon on July 4th, 1976, one of the things we did nationwide was we had all the church bells go off at once at noon that day, or corresponding what would be noon, right? Whether it was like 11 o'clock in Chicago or noon Eastern, whatever. And all the church bells went off simultaneously. And I remember stepping outside. I had my tape recorder and I stepped outside and I recorded the church bells going off in the neighborhood because I thought it was the coolest thing that all around the country, all the church bells were going off at the same time. That just was so cool to me. Guys, none of that is happening this time. There's nothing. There's literally nothing happening. Donald Trump had a state fair that was pathetic on the National Mall. It wasn't a state fair. He invited a bunch of states that had little booths and they had little like displays about their states. Boring as hell. It had a Ferris wheel that kept breaking down, and then it had a model of Donald Trump's arch. That's it. Some really bad performers, but there were none when I was there. That's it. It's not a state's fair. It was boring as hell. And when you think that it was a fair. When you think that this was, thank you, Jorge, that this was about the nation's 250th birthday, which is considered a milestone, and that it was this pathetic of a thing. I mean, again, this is our 250th birthday. This should have been huge. And it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. As I said, last time, my hometown that I was raised in had a, what do you call it? They did I'm forgetting what you call it. A thing where we all wrote little notes a time capsule where we all wrote little notes and they were going to unseal it in 100 years at the tricentennial, which was kind of neat. Oh, you okay? They were going to unseal it at the tricentennial. And it was kind of fun. Like I wrote a little note. I don't know what, I was 13 years old or whatever, but it was fun. And I remember this. We put a fountain. My hometown. Oh, you all right? You probably choked a little bit on that piece of food, didn't you? That's my guess here. You all right? She wanted a little piece of food, and of course she wolfed it down and now is like, okay, you okay? My hometown built a fountain. A little fountain for the bicentennial. I mean, the point is, do you need some water or something? You're kind of freaking me out here. All right. She's not choking, but there's a little bit of unhappiness going on here. You get it. I mean, guys, I mean, it's so, I don't even know what to call it. It's so pathetic what Trump is doing. That, and again, he likes to claim, the Republicans claim to be the party of patriotism. There's no patriotism at all. There's no patriotism at all at this point. Thank you, Blue. It's just, like I said, it was a huge deal for us. I'm still doing that, huh? It was a huge deal for us, the bicentennial. And now nobody cares. Let me pull this up. And I think this is true because somebody else weighed in and backed it up. There was a somebody from that was working with the Smithsonian. Let me read this to you. And I think this is true because somebody else backed it up. And right, I worked at the Smithsonian, which is the big museum system here in Washington, D.C., specifically raising money for the 250th. What I want people to know is we secured millions of private philanthropy to host a month-long folk life festival on the National Mall. The Festival of Festivals, it was going to be called, was going to feature well-known festivals. Think Burning Man, Farm Aid, Grand Ole Opry, as well as smaller local and regional festivals from across the U.S. and territories. The goal was to feature truly the best and most beautiful creative expression in music, dance, arts and crafts, traditions, food, community. Can't name names, but plan was to have headliners every night for free concerts. Think the type of names who might be affiliated with the aforementioned large festivals. Stars were willing to perform because it was under the banner of the Smithsonian. It had to all be scrapped because the Trump administration would not release permits to host it on the mall. The money went elsewhere, but our nation was robbed of what would have been a once-in-a-generation cultural moment. That's what it should have been. Again, this is where people on the left and people in the middle cannot message. If Democrats destroyed the 250th anniversary of the country, Fox News would destroy us if we did what Donald Trump did. He destroyed our 250th birthday. It doesn't exist at this point. It just doesn't exist. You know, I mean, it's exactly like a month-long folk festival. They should have had, and it should have been, like they said, and it should have been in Washington, but they could have had them around the country too. They could have picked a couple different towns or whatever, you know, because I got to tell you, I'm feeling nothing. I'm like as patriotic as it gets. I love the patriotism thing. I do. This means nothing to me this year. The 4th of July means absolutely nothing to me this year because of what Trump has done, because there's nothing going on. They're having fire. The fireworks in D.C. are going to be like twice as long, which is nice. Good luck getting there. You're never going to be able to get there to see them. Instead of starting them at 9:15 or 9:10 at night when the sun sets, Trump is starting them at 10:30 at night. No one can figure out why. And people like normally bring their kids and stuff, and they're like, well, if we bring our children at 9:10, that's a lot different than bringing our children at 10:30 at night, right? I mean, it just, yeah. Anyway. It's very sad. It's very sad. Anyway, let me get rolling with the news and we'll get to it. Some important Supreme Court news today. A number of Supreme Court cases. I'll talk about a couple of them. E. Jean Carroll won her case. She's got a couple different cases. Thank you for the gift there. Thank you, guys. Or Gaz. E. Jean Carroll won her Supreme Court case. So E. Jean Carroll is the woman who alleged and won in court. Let me be more precise. She alleged that Donald Trump raped her in a Bergdorf Goodman in a department store back in the 1990s in New York. She sued. I get a little confused as to the civil criminal side of this, but she sued Trump, went to court, and because New York law is very specific about the definition of rape, it's more restrained than other states. He was not found liable for rape. The jury did not find that he raped her because New York, and the judge subsequently said that the judge felt it was rape, but because the way New York writes the law, in other states it would have been rape, in New York it wasn't. So he was found liable for sexual assault, is what they called it. She sued him at the same time for defamation because he called her a liar and this kind of stuff. And she won $5 million, right? So she won $5 million for defamation and for the sexual assault. Trump appealed. He also, again, called her a liar. So she sued him again. And the next one she won was $83 million judgment for defamation. This case is the $5 million case. Oh, was it statute of limitations? Okay. This was the $5 million case. So it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. Trump argues a number of things, including that it was unfair for the judge to allow the lawyer for E. Jean Carroll, who I actually know, which I didn't even realize. I'd met the lawyer. She's very involved in the gay community. She's gay, lesbian, very involved in the gay community. And I'd met her. We had lunch in New York when I was living there. Roberta, really neat woman. But it was so wild. I saw the name and I was like, oh my God, I know her. So proud of her. The lawyer, Roberta, got the court to allow the introduction of evidence that the Access Hollywood stuff, right? The Access Hollywood stuff. That when Trump said, I can grab them, when you're famous, you can do this, you can do that, this kind of crap. And they introduced it as evidence so the jury could hear it. And Trump and his people were claiming that it was unfair. It biased the jury against him. Bottom line is, it made its way all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, we're not going to hear the case. The appellate court sided with E. Jean Carroll. So that case is done. She won. She won the $5 million. There is no more appeal for Trump to do. So that's great. The $83 million case is still going through the appellate system, which will probably go to the Supreme Court. So let's see what happens with that. But anyway, that was very good news. The Lisa Cook case is a little odd. So Trump has been trying to fire a woman at the Federal Reserve. She's one of the people where they basically broke into her records illegally, her mortgage records, and tried to claim that she lied about her mortgage and this kind of crap. And it hasn't been proven. And Trump was trying to get her fired based on the allegation. And she's been suing. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said you can't fire her. So that's good. The problem is the Supreme Court said you can't fire her because the Federal Reserve is a special case in the federal government. What the Supreme Court seemed to have done, and I mean, I'm still not an expert on these cases, but I'm just giving you the summary here. The Supreme Court did rule that in lots of other federal areas, it would be okay for Trump to basically fire people he doesn't like. Now, I would argue, first of all, completely inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate, first of all, for the Supreme Court to do that. Courts are supposed to rule narrowly, meaning if you have a woman who works at the Federal Reserve that Trump is trying to fire illegally, and you want to rule and say the Federal Reserve is a unique institution, and therefore we will not allow this to happen. That's what you rule. You don't say, oh, in a lesser institution, he can do it. Meaning in the other federal government agencies, it's okay, because you've now given him permission. It looks like the Supreme Court did that. It looks like the Supreme Court basically gave him permission to now gut all the other independent agencies when they should have said, this ruling has nothing to do with the other agencies. We're not saying it's okay to do this in the other agencies. We are just saying for the Federal Reserve, which is what's before us, you can't do it because the Federal Reserve has a special status. Right? Now, that does not mean that for example, special status raises it to here. Maybe the other agencies are only here, but maybe the level you need is here in terms of, so Trump can't do anything, right? So what you're saying is, well, Federal Reserve is so far ahead that Trump can't touch it. That doesn't mean he can touch the other ones. You're just saying, you get my point. Hey, dog, please stop. So in any case, that is not good because it means that let me give you examples. A lot of federal jobs, like the Federal Reserve, Democratic and Republican presidents appoint people to these jobs. They're jobs that are set for 5 or 10 years, and you're not allowed to fire somebody unless it's like malfeasance, negligence, right? Like they literally did something bad on the job. You can't just fire them because they're Democrats or Republicans. And what Trump, of course, is trying to do is fire everybody who's a Democrat. And what the Supreme Court said today, at least from the first read, was that's okay in most cases. He can just fire a bunch of Democrats from all of these independent agencies and independent commissions. That's not the way it's supposed to work. The whole reason that Democratic presidents appoint and Republican presidents appoint, and the people continue, is so that you keep a bipartisan, nonpartisan mix of people at these independent places. But of course, Trump doesn't care, and the Supreme Court doesn't care either, because the Supreme Court works for Donald Trump. So it's good that they ruled for Lisa Cook. They kind of screwed up everything else. That's the concern. Third case, Sasha, stop. Third case of the Supreme Court. Let me read you this from the New York Times. It's interesting. The Supreme Court ruling letting more than a dozen states keep their post-election grace periods for mail ballots is a defeat for President Donald Trump and Republicans ahead of the midterms. Basically, states were counting ballots after the election, and the court said that's okay. But the Republicans can still capture significant victories in major election-related cases coming down the pipe. On Monday, 2 Republican appointees joined the 3 liberal justices in rejecting GOP claims that federal law did not allow states to count postmarked mail ballots that arrive at election offices after Election Day. In other words, the ballot is postmarked, mail-in ballot. It's postmarked Election Day, but it takes a couple days to get there. So it doesn't get there until 3 days after the election, but you mailed it in Election Day or before. So in fact, you did cast your ballot before Election Day. And the Supreme Court said that's okay. Republicans want to kill it because it tends to help Democrats. They rejected Republican claims that federal law did not allow states to count postmarked mail ballots that arrive at election offices after Election Day. The ruling upheld Mississippi's 5-day mail ballot grace period after the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals had struck it down. It comes after Trump last year tried to unilaterally punish states for counting mail ballots arriving after Election Day. But in an under-the-radar maneuver, the Supreme Court took up a separate case that could help Trump and Republicans tighten voter rules in the name of preventing non-citizen voting. Next year, the justices will consider reviving part of an Arizona law requiring proof of citizenship for voting. The case RNC versus Mi Familia Vota could also give states the green light to conduct mass voter purges of suspected non-citizens in the days and weeks before an election. Just to remind you, we don't have a problem in America of non-citizens voting. I'd had the data up the other day. Let me pull it up again because I think I still have it. From the Heritage Foundation. Here we go. Listen to this. This was data from the conservative MAGA Heritage Foundation, okay? Over the past 50 years, since 1975 or so, the database that the Republican Party has includes only 41 cases involving non-citizens either registering to vote, voting, or attempting to vote over 5 decades, highlighting the absurdity of Trump's claim that millions of non-citizens voted. Let me restate this. Over 50 years, 50 of voting from around 1975 to today, we have only had 41 instances of people here illegally, either trying to vote or registering to vote. So that's not even 41 cases of them voting or trying to vote. A lot of those cases are them simply trying to register, right? So even fewer actually voted. The number of ballots cast since 1976. I'm going to pull this up. The number of ballots cast since 1976, I'm going to guess 5 billion would be my guess. Let's see what ChatGPT says, because I know over the last 20 years, it's a couple billion. Let's see here. How many ballots have been cast in American elections, state, federal, and local, since 1975? Give me a ballpark estimate.
Since 1975, we're talking about half a century of elections, and turnout has gradually increased over time with population growth. For a ballpark figure, you're easily looking at billions of ballots. In fact, rough estimates could place it somewhere around 3 to 4 billion ballots cast across all those elections combined.
Okay, because the estimate I saw since around 2000 was almost a couple billion, like 2 billion. You think it's only another 2 billion for the 25 years before that?
You're right to push on that. The earlier decades, especially the 70s and 80s, had lower populations and turnout rates, so the growth wouldn't be purely linear. If we're adding pre-2000, maybe it's more like another 1 to 1.5 billion. Still massive, but less than recent decades.
So what do you think totally? 3 billion, 4 billion votes? Maybe three?
The solid ballpark. If I had to settle on a broad total, I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 billion ballots over that nearly 50-year span.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So we're talking 3 billion ballots cast since 1975. Of those 3 billion ballots, 41 people here illegally either tried to vote or tried to register to vote. That's it. You can imagine that 41 people over 50 years, less than one a year, when there were like 3 billion ballots cast, it made no difference whatsoever. It's not only a small percentage, it made no difference. This is less than one ballot a year. It's not even a ballot a year. As I told you, this isn't 41 people trying to vote. It includes people trying to vote, trying to register to vote, or voting. So only a small number of those actually voted. There is no impact whatsoever. And this has been my problem all along. If Republicans are trying to require citizenship for voting, and there's no problem with non-citizens voting, and we now know there isn't according to the Heritage database, then why are they doing it? There must be some other impact that they think is going to happen. Will you stop, please? Some other impact they think is going to happen if they pass this law, that somehow it's going to help them otherwise. That's what worries me. Exactly, like a poll tax, basically, where it scares people. People who are citizens just get scared for whatever reason. But again, there's, you get it. You get it. I love bringing up that data, though, because it's literally data from the Conservative Heritage Foundation, which is a MAGA organization. One second here. Let's see. More news here. So Iran, very weird thing today with Iran. The U.S. and Iran published a joint statement today saying they were going to stop attacking each other and they were going that they were going to negotiate again. I don't know what the hell that means. And, of course, Trump and everybody, a joint statement with Iran. We're going to stop bombing each other and negotiate. Well, the only reason we bombed Iran is because they sort of bombed they bombed civilian tankers first. So the U.S. promising we're not going to bomb Iran is bullshit, because if Iran bombs tankers, we are going to bomb Iran. And we're going to negotiate. I thought we were negotiating with Iran. Right? We already were negotiating with Iran. So what are they talking about? Sasha, that was useless. That was totally useless. Really? I felt that one. I was trying to give her a little bit of a treat. All right, be nice to my hand. Thank you. It doesn't mean anything. We're going to negotiate with Iran now. We've been negotiating with Iran for weeks. What does that even mean? You get it. I don't understand what this means. So this weekend, I went to the Lincoln Memorial because there is a very cool basement in the Lincoln Memorial. It's a basement structure in the Lincoln Memorial where these cement pillars exist that support the Lincoln. This is the underneath of the Lincoln Memorial. It's these pillars, these cement pillars. They're there from the beginning, 1914 to 1922 or so. And we went on a tour. They've just opened it up to the public. You can't really walk in the pillars, but there's a museum. This is a glass looking through, and it's neat because it almost to me looks like the Colosseum or something. You know what I mean? So you're getting a reflection there, but you can see. The pillars are really cool. It's very cool. It was really fun and very interesting. They also have kind of a sound and light show, so they project lights and talk about the history of Abraham Lincoln and this kind of stuff. It was very cute, right? Red, white, and blue. It was very cute, and that was just the view out the middle. Afterwards, we went upstairs because I wanted to, I wanted to go see the monument because it's always fun. And one thing I never realized, now, when you go to the Lincoln Memorial, there's the Gettysburg Address on one side, and then I don't know if this is one or a couple of his speeches. I live in D.C. Thank you, Brown-Eyed. His speeches are on the wall. Well, this woman downstairs told me, and I said, get out of here. That can't be true, right? And she said, I don't know if we need an ID to enter. I don't remember. The woman tells me downstairs, one of the visitors, she goes, there's an error on one of the speeches of Abraham Lincoln's. And I said, get out of here. She goes, yeah, they corrected it years ago. And I'm like, I've been going here. When I was a kid, we came here when I was like 6 years old, right? And then I came here in high school. And then I've lived here since I was 21. So I've been there 10 times. Never noticed this. I Googled it. So if you're facing the Lincoln, look to your right and you will see the speech that has 3 columns. Okay. I want to show you this. It's the funkiest thing. I can probably show you. I've got a zoom, but I can probably show you on this. I'm going to zoom in the first column. Yeah, here we go. And you look for the word future. Oops. Now I'm trying to see where my here it is. Look for the word future. Okay. Oop, hang on. I'm going to zoom out again. First column. All right. We're going to look for the word future. It's right here. As I zoom it more, look what happens. The word future used to be future. It was an E. They scratched out the bottom of the E. So from a distance, once you start to zoom away, it looks like future, especially when you're on the ground. It looks like future, but it also looks like the F is a little skinny, right? Is that the craziest thing? I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I never knew. I mean, guys, I've been here so many times. Never knew. I just thought that was very cool. To me, that was just like the coolest thing. So I did a video on it just because I was like, I'm blown away here. Well, we leave the Lincoln Memorial, get on the street, and our car is parked around the block, and the police have blocked off the streets. And I said, oh, what's going on? And he said, oh, we've got like a VIP coming through. I'm not sure when, but it should be soon. He says, you can wait and watch if you want. Maybe you'll get a glimpse. And I said, oh, can you say who it is? Oh, I can't say who it is. And I said, well, I don't think we've got any heads of state in town. He goes, oh, you never know. I said, well, I pay attention. I said, we were supposed to have the Italian foreign minister. I said, but somebody pissed him off. So the Italian, I said, somebody pissed off the Italian foreign minister. So he's not coming. But I said, hello, you. And I said, well, okay, thanks. Well, we'll take a look. So we get by the side of the road, and I've got to see. I don't know if I've got my video here. I mean, actually, it's on. You know what? It's on TikTok. I can just pull it up on my TikTok. 1 second here. And so I start. We're waiting, and I'm noticing that the roads. We're right across the Washington Monument, and the roads are blocked a couple blocks away. And we're going, it's got to be the president, because they don't block the roads blocks away. Hey, stop. They don't block the roads blocks away unless it's the president or the vice president. So we're sitting there, and as we're getting closer, we realize, and I'll show you this really quick.
I saw Donald Trump this morning in DC.
It was
8 feet away from
it was Trump.
Baseball cap, reading his phone in
So,
his car. We're at the Lincoln Memorial.
Show you my video really quick.
There, the new one that's in the basement. Check out my video about it. And the cops had blocked off the streets and said somebody important was coming through. And we were like,
Now, I thought his hat was black. His hat was white.
Nobody else was there. Big cars start coming, and we're thinking, American flag could be Trump. Literally, this car drove in front of me like 8 feet away, and there's Trump with the hat on and reading his phone.
This is my video, TikTok. Don't get mad at me.
Across the bridge.
This is my video.
By the Lincoln Memorial. Circles the area where he's.
Oh, hang on. Let me. I want to actually pull the video up. Oh, here we go. So this is the caravan coming. Okay.
So some kind of motorcade coming through.
Police in front.
It could be Trump. It could be Trump. I don't know. We'll see what the flags are. All right. So motorcade coming through.
It's the second. It's the second black car. 1 second. This is number one. It's number two.
And Anybody we know? Trump. That was Trump. He had a black hat on.
This was yesterday. Now, the interesting thing is, this was yesterday.
I think Donald Trump jammed my phone yesterday because I saw him randomly on the street when I was at the Lincoln
What's
Memorial.
this?
He passed right in front of me, and my microphone started dying. It was the craziest thing. Watch the clip, and then I'm going to show you slow motion. What do we think, guys? Anybody we know? Trump. That was Trump. He had a black hat on. Is Trump's? I'm having it slow motion. That would be him in the back seat right there. I could see in person. I could see it. Like you could see his face, his hat, and everything. Second one is a car that's got an antenna on the back. Okay, see that antenna on the back? Very interesting. Could that be the one that interfered? Hard to say. And then the next one is a car that's got a whole flat thing on the roof that looks like the kind of stuff you put when you're going on vacation and you're putting all your luggage in there. Could that be the car? Military friend of mine thought maybe that was the one that was interfering.
It was very cool. Well,
now,
it was.
Could be other committee. Could be.
It was funny because when I got home, I've got a little microphone that goes here. It's magnetic, and it's Bluetooth or something to the phone. And I got home and listened, and I thought, oh shit, my connection. Well, I thought I hit the microphone, but then I was thinking that doesn't make sense because I said I'm holding my phone up and the microphone's here, and I'm watching the cars go by. What did I hit my microphone with? But then I was thinking, if I hit my microphone, it would have been a hit microphone sound. It would have been, right? It wouldn't have been cutting out the sound. That's when a friend said that was jamming. And then I Googled it, and there is a jamming car that allegedly travels, watchtower, they call it, or whatever, that travels with the president for this very reason. Now, the reason is that, which makes sense, IEDs. Improvised explosive devices, what they used in Iraq and Afghanistan. They used cell phones. I'm not the expert on this, but they used cell phones to set them off. Like the cell phone, I think, is part of the device, the bomb, and you call the cell phone or send a text message or whatever when you see the car crossing over, boom. And if you jam a cell signal, then Trump's car passes over the area, and the cell phones will always be banned wherever his car is passing over, so you can't send a cell phone signal. It was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that was kind of neat. Yeah, it was very interesting. No, I mean, like I said, I thought I screwed up my microphone until two of the different readers on TikTok said, they jammed your phone. And I said, get out of here. And then I talked to Callum and I talked to others, and they said, yeah, that's jamming. Isn't that cool? So that's why, I'll do it one more time. That's why as soon as Trump's car comes by, and I'll tell you what happened too. What happened was, because I had my phone on regular resolution, I had HD what do you call it? HD or whatever it is, and 30 frames per second, you can't really see him. In person, it was obvious. The window's tinted, but it's not a mirrored. I don't know why it's not a mirrored window. It's not maybe for security, they need to know where he is. It's not a mirrored window. I mean, I had the phone up like this, but I just happened to look up at the car as it was coming by, and it was Donald Trump wearing a baseball cap, looking down. He was holding, I'm assuming, a phone. He was looking down at his hand like this as he went by, and it was Donald Trump. I mean, it wasn't in the video. You look and you go, it looks like there's a person there, right? Oh no. But again, listen to it one more time. Like I said, the jamming.
What do we think, guys? Anybody we know? Trump. That was Trump. He had a black hat on. Is Trump's? I'm having it slow motion.
Well, that was the slow-mo. You can see
the seat right there. I could see in person. I could see it.
See, so you can barely tell somebody there, but in person, it was really cool. In person, it was Donald Trump. I mean, again, I can't stand the man, but it was still kind of exciting to see him because he's still the president. So it was very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It was very sort of surprising. Now what gets even more interesting is he drives, this is at the Lincoln Memorial. Hey, a little bit more here. Come here. He drives across the Memorial Bridge. And we're like, oh, he's going to Virginia. Weird. We start walking away. And as we clear the bridge, I see all the police lights circling in Northern Virginia. Well, let me show you on the map where we were and what was going on. Okay, hang on a second. Show you on the map. Okay. Okay. This is the Lincoln Memorial. We were quite literally, we were quite literally right here watching Trump, okay? So I'm right here watching Trump. He comes from over here somewhere, loops through, drives by, comes here, and goes across. Well, we start walking from here over to our car. Or we're right here, I'm sorry. We're here over to our car. So now we can see the bridge, and we see the police lights circling this area. And then what happens? Trump's motorcade comes back like this and passes us again. This is where the arch is going to be. He wanted to survey the area where the arch was going to be. So we actually, just to make it even wilder, we saw him on his way to survey the arch land. Now, supposedly the arch may not be built, but who the hell knows? I mean, it's Donald Trump. Would he take the money elsewhere from the federal budget and build the arch anyway? Hello, right? But that made it even more interesting to me that he was on his way to survey the arch. It was weird. It was very, that was my hand again, crazy. It was very crazy. But I did not think it was going to be him. I mean, quite literally, I was like seeing the car and I'm going, I was thinking Vance or something. And I figured there's no way we're going to be able to see through the window, whoever it is. And quite literally, I'm on the sidewalk. The car is in front of me. And I'm like, and it's Donald Trump, like 10 feet in front of me. It was crazy. That's why I was like, that was Trump. And I asked the guy, there was a guy about 20 feet next to me, 30 feet, some father, 30 feet next to me. And I went, did you just see that? He goes, yeah. He goes, that was Trump. I said, that's what I thought. And I said, I thought the hat was black. He was wearing a baseball hat. I thought it was black, but it's because it was dark in the car and the dark windows. It looked black. Later on, I saw Trump walking around wearing a white hat. It probably was white. But I said, he was wearing a hat. And the guy goes, yeah, he was wearing a black baseball hat. And I said, that's what I saw. So it was the craziest thing. Anyway, again, I get excited about that stuff. I don't like Donald Trump, but I've now in person seen Jimmy Carter, George Bush the First. I'm trying to remember. Obama, Clinton, Trump, and George Bush the son. I don't think I've ever seen in person. No. Yeah, the Obamas I saw. George Bush the son I have not seen. Biden in person? I don't know on Capitol Hill if I've ever seen Biden. Hard to say. It's not as president. I don't know if I ever saw Biden in person anywhere. I don't think I have. I'd have to think about that. Anyway, so kind of cool. I mean, again, he's an idiot, but he's the president, so it's still kind of cool to see him. You know, did I fanboy? Yeah, hardly. It's still exciting. Look, I told my haircutter today, if I ran into Stalin on the street, it would still be very cool. I'm not a fan of Stalin, but it would still be rather wild running into Stalin. Little Soul says, I saw Johnson's motorcade in 64. Oh, wow, 64 especially too, which was pretty early. Hey, be nice. Thank you. Oh, you got it? Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, the algae is back, by the way. Because I wasn't even know. We went down to look at the reflecting pool. It's all cordoned off with fences. They claim it's for the fireworks, but they cordoned it off before the fire. They don't ever cut off the reflecting pool this far before the 4th of July. So clearly they cut off the reflecting pool because Trump doesn't want anybody there. Again, it's part of the part of the creeping fascism. And the water is green again. I mean, the water is not blue, it's green. New York Times did a big expose this weekend. We found out why remember Trump claimed, and he did again. Hey, be nice. There you go. Trump claimed again today, I think, that like Antifa or Amphifa, which I think they're, like amphibians, Amphifa, put algae fertilizer in the water and they caused the algae to happen. New York Times did a big article this weekend. Guess who caused the algae to happen? The Trump people. So June 12th or so, Trump has his UFC fight coming. And remember, he was going to do the weigh-in or the weighings, whatever they're called, at the Lincoln Memorial. Well, someone, take a guess who, someone thought it would be unsightly to have the ozone bubblers that were alongside the reflecting pool. They had little machines to pump ozone in the water to kill the algae. And they thought that was ugly. So for 36 hours, they removed the Park Service. Again, somebody told the Park Service to remove the ozone bubblers. And what happened? By the time the 36 hours was up and they came back with the ozone bubblers, the algae was out of control. That's why the algae went crazy. It didn't go crazy because it was residual algae. It didn't go crazy because Antifa poured fertilizer in the water. It went crazy because Donald Trump's people, and it was Trump, ordered them to remove the algae killing device because it didn't look good for Trump's UFC fight. Yeah. Oh, well. Kennedy Center, the tarp is still up, by the way. I went by the Kennedy Center. I figured I'd get everything done that day. Went by the Kennedy Center again, and the tarp is still up. Very sad. It was kind of funny because there were this is actually very funny. They've now got security guards there to stop you from going, but they're Kennedy Center security guards. There's a man and a woman. The woman was embarrassed and hid. Once I started filming, she climbed behind and started hiding. Did not want to be on camera. The guy stood there and I waved. I was like, I felt bad for him. He's a Kennedy Center security guard, So I waved. He waved back. I'm like, what do you do? He knows what's going on. But yeah, see, that's the guy. The woman was over here. She was not happy about being filmed, but they're still hiding the name because they don't want anybody to see. And the judge had asked for an explanation. Let's see what happens, right? Whether they get an explanation from Trump and his people on why they did this. Hey, dog, I hear you. Let me see what else I've got here. Sasha, you just had water. Cut it out. Let me see what else. Biden called Trump a loser. This is pretty good. Biden went after Trump pretty hard this weekend, which I'm fine with. 1 second here. This is from The Guardian. Joe Biden called Donald Trump a loser in a pugnacious speech on Saturday that invoked his presidential successor's attempted makeover of Washington, D.C. to portray him as incompetent, corrupt, and vain. Biden's 10-minute discourse touched on Trump's demolition of the White House's East Wing to make space for a ballroom. The court ordered removal of his name after he added it to the facade of the Kennedy Center, his plan for a triumphal arch, and the algae bloom that undermined his $14.7 million renovation of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. But, quote, it's not just his vanity projects in the nation's capital that are a disgrace, Biden said. He also invoked how the administration has been seeking to compensate those convicted of and then presidentially pardoned for roles in the violent attack at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Whoa, Biden said while reciting all of that. What a loser. Biden, hey, stop. Seriously, we're going this way again? Oh, my God. I hate you sometimes. Go. Come on, go. Sasha, for the love of God, come here. Come here, you goofball. Jesus. Of course, once again, she had to walk where my camera was. The tripod for my camera for you guys on YouTube and stuff was the path she had to take. I have a clean path under the table. I've moved the chair for her, but the path she wanted was my tripod that my camera is on for YouTube and Substack and everybody, not for you guys. Classic. So I just had to move my tripod, let her walk through. It's like, she really is. I'm telling you, she's the emu. She's Emmanuel. It's like, Emmanuel, I've opened up space under the table for you. Nope. She'd rather go that way. Whoa, Biden said, what a loser. Now, I had interviewed Mary Trump years ago, and Mary said that calling him a loser is the thing that really pisses off Donald Trump. That pisses him off more than anything. So she likes to call him that. And I think Biden was calling him that on purpose for that reason. But very interesting. What a loser. Biden added that the reflecting pool project in particular, for which the federal government awarded a $1.7 million no-bid filtration system contract to a Trump donor who is a neighbor of the president's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, quote, reflects something even worse than the narcissism and incompetence at the core of this administration. It's the corruption, the brazen, blatant corruption, Biden said. Corruption on a scale never seen before in American history in any administration. Biden also criticized Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin after the Russian leaders invaded Ukraine in 2022. And Biden accused Trump of deliberate distortion and destruction of the NATO military alliance. Quote, he's diminished our standing in the world more than any president in history. Honestly, it's good. I'm glad he did it. Good for Biden, you know? It is highly, other than Trump, who's an idiot, it is highly unusual for any president to basically criticize the sitting president. Once you leave, you don't criticize the sitting president. Nobody does. None of our guys do. But Trump does it all the time because Trump is a child. He's a narcissistic, vengeful, psychologically damaged child. But Biden and Obama and everybody else has been very careful. Biden finally went there, which I'm glad he went there, because it's important, and it's important to stand up to this guy. The Telegraph. This is good too. So you know how Trump has sued the BBC? Trump got upset because the BBC showed like his speech on January 6th and then showed part of his speech later. And if you string them together, it might sound like Trump was. Bottom line is he didn't like the way they edited his speeches. Okay. So he sues them for defamation. The Telegraph reports that the BBC has requested that Donald Trump hand over his phone records from January 6th as part of his defamation lawsuit against the broadcaster. Now, I don't know whether the BBC can get away with this, but what a freaking brilliant idea to basically, let's see if they can get away with it. It depends with the court. The court may say no. If the court says yes, that would be pretty freaking cool. Bill Pulte. Bill Pulte is Trump's new director of national intelligence who has no background in intelligence. He's the guy who's the housing expert who uses housing records to go after Trump's enemies like Lisa Cook and Adam Schiff and all these guys, right? Well, Trump's acting director of national intelligence has chosen as his chief of staff a Republican election operative who oversaw a poll watching program that included Jack Posobiec. Jack Posobiec is a right-wing nut job activist. Jack Posobiec and other conservative conspiracy theorists. The operative, Christina Norton, also appears to have no experience working in the intel community. He hired as his chief of staff an election conspiracy person, activist from MAGA. That should tell you what Trump is planning to do with the intelligence community. Very, very, very scary stuff. More here. Washington Post. Oh, God. Washington Post. Trump has a new side. Mind you, inflation. We're not dealing with inflation ever again in this country, obviously. Trump has a new side project, counting the number of trees in a public park across the street from the White House. So Lafayette Park is right across the street from the White House. Trump has counting the trees, and he's decided that we need to have 47 trees across the street from the White House in the park to honor him because he's the 47th president. He's been counting the trees and determined there weren't 47. So he's making them plant 47 trees total, so that it can honor him. Whoever's next needs to plant one more tree so that there's no longer 47 trees. But again, guys, this is what he's doing with our money. This is what and by the way, what Rosie just said, too much time. This is what he's doing with his time. We're at war. We have inflation. The economy's in trouble. People are worried. And this guy spends his days doing this kind of bullshit. He's counting the number of trees. Sunday morning, when I saw him Sunday morning, he was touring all of these sites. He was touring the trees. He was touring the Washington Monument and the reflecting pool. He was touring where the arch is going to be. He was apparently touring all the facilities around town that he was going to put his name on. That's what he was doing Sunday morning when I saw him. Yeah. Trump said, oh, here we go. Here's another one. Again, since all we have is money nowadays, Trump said his administration would renovate one of Washington, D.C.'s public golf courses, East Potomac Golf Links. He's spending federal money renovating a golf course in Washington, D.C. Why? I don't know, right? I mean, I only found out a couple months ago that we even had golf courses in Washington. They're federal golf courses in Washington, D.C. I'm not really sure why Washington, D.C. has federal golf courses at all, to be honest. Pretty freaking weird stuff. The New York Times, the families. Oh, Ty, that is one hell of a, you know that. Now, I've got to think that is a great gift. All right. That's my, I never did change the listing for that gift. The UN stories, I know I didn't change the listing. I told you, like, I've used, oh my, Jesus Christ, Ty. Okay, that's an even crazier gift. You're out of your mind. Thank you. That's an insane gift. That's a very, I can tell that's a, I shouldn't say that's better. I think that's a better gift just because you can tell when the gifts are really interactively crazy. Oh, that was, yeah, Ty gets whatever he wants. Or she or he gets whatever they want. I'd have to think of a UN story. I've given so many of the UN stories already. God. That second one had to be an insane. I mean, the first one was very nice. The first one's a very nice gift. That second gift had to be an insane gift. Thank you, Ty. God, I'm trying to think of my, oh, is TikTok, is that a huge, okay. That wasn't the nicest gift that's out there, was it? Maybe it was. Ty, you're crazy. Thank you for that. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. Now I'm trying to think because I've told all my UN stories. Okay, that wasn't insane. I thought, well, we don't really know how much the gifts cost on my end, and it doesn't show us. I can just tell because I've gotten used to how the gifts are, and when they're particularly cool, you can tell. And like, I could tell that was a particularly cool gift. It was bigger. It was, thank you, Cricket. It was more detailed. It lasted longer. It's funny. There's just stuff you can tell as a creator where you're like, that was, anyways, thank you for that. Shit, I'm trying to think of my UN stories for you because I've told them all already. Any story. Well, I could do any story. I'm trying to think, God, I'm trying to think of my life. Interesting story. Oh, okay. You know what? I've got a Jean-Paul Gaultier story. Totally unrelated, but kind of fun. We're in Paris back in 2003, maybe 2004. And we're at, and I'm forgetting the name, great little restaurant near Le Dôme in Montparnasse. I love this restaurant. It's a little touristy, but it's also traditional French. It's very, I'm going to pull this up. Hold on. Montparnasse. I'm going to tell you hello. What are you doing here? Ty's doing it. Ty, what are you Ty's doing it again. Okay, Ty just bought a second copy of a ridiculously expensive gift on TikTok. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It's like it's as I said, like I do this for a living, so it's also very nice on that account, but it's also nice to anyway, it's very nice on the creator side to have that. Thank you. And I think it's also nice for people too, because they don't always get to see like the coolest gifts. Ty is out of his mind or her mind. He just did it a third time. You guys have to sort of see this on TikTok to appreciate it. Ty just got mom's credit card. Somebody wrote. That was very funny. I'm going to tell you my Jean-Paul Gaultier story. So Jean-Paul Gaultier is a very famous fashion designer. He is, I'm going to show you his picture, kind of made famous by Madonna. He was famous before Madonna, but he his let me show you this. Jean-Paul Gaultier. He was super famous, or is still alive, because he I mean, I'm trying to find like images here of him. He would always wear this t-shirt, and this was the design of his perfume, right? His cologne. And he liked to wear the striped t-shirts. And he also, I thought he had something to do with Madonna's boob thing during when she had the pointy boobs, I thought. Super famous designer and or I should say cologne. I think he's a designer too. Cologne guy as well, right? Super duper. Yeah, he's a French fashion designer and does cologne and stuff too. Super, I mean, crazy famous designer, Jean-Paul Gaultier, right? So Sasha, stop. So we're at this restaurant, and hold on, I'm going to pull this up. And we're at this restaurant. Sasha, please stop. She's whining because she wants me to give her more treats. All right, Montparnasse en France. And here you go. Please don't eat my hand. Thank you. Here we go. Montparnasse. La Coupole. Here we go. Vavin. Oh, it's La Coupole. Wait, it's La Coupole. La Coupole is the restaurant. It is a wonderful restaurant in Montparnasse. It's Art Deco inside. It's a really cool. It's a little touristy, but it's a old restaurant going back over 100 years. It's very cool. And my old French friend of ours said, in the 1920s, the women would meet the rent boys in the basement. She goes, that's how they met their men they would pay for. The women, it was very well known. And I was like, women in the 1920s? Oh yes, women in the 1920s would hire young boys in the basement of the restaurant. Very famous, beautiful restaurant. Well, we're sitting in back, and there's somebody at the table across from us, and everyone is like going by and paying, homage. And we asked the waiter, we said, excuse me, who is at that table? Everyone's talking to her. And the waiter says, oh, that would be Monsieur Gaultier. And we were like, Jean-Paul Gaultier. He said, oh, wow. So that's very cool. Again, famous, we knew who he was, famous designer. Well, my friends wanted to send him a bottle of wine. And the waiter tells them, and he says, and he looks over and goes, no. And he knew we were American. He loves Americans. And he said, no, thank you so much. Though he goes, no, we've had enough. He goes, but thank you. That's very sweet. He said, no problem. Well, on the way out, we left before, but again, we're a couple tables away. We had to walk by his table to leave. We go to leave, and we walk by his table. And I think my friends probably looked at him and said, bonsoir, just like goodbye. That was it. And he says, oh, stop. So where are you from? He goes, you're American. We said, yeah. He goes, oh, that's great. He starts talking to us for 10 minutes. And he's just like 10 minutes of Jean-Paul Gaultier. And I don't even remember the conversation now. I just remember it was a 10-minute, and he's there with other people at the table who are kind of looking. And he clearly likes Americans, loves New York, of course, and just had this 10-minute conversation with us. The nicest guy. I mean, it was real. And again, he's at dinner at a restaurant, gracious. Actually, Angeline just said gracious. That's like the perfect word for it. Just so gracious, because obviously he saw these, I was living there for a month, but he saw these tourists, so to speak, who tried to do a nice gesture. And I think he figured, I think he probably figured he was curious to meet us, but also he'd make our night. It was very, It was funny too, because like my friend's boyfriend was like, ask him what he's doing tonight. Maybe he'll invite, we can all go for drinks. And I was like, I am not asking him what he's doing tonight. And he got mad at me too. And I said, there is no way in hell I'm asking Jean-Paul Gaultier, hey, are you doing anything interesting tonight? And I was like, no. I just, maybe that's why I don't get invited to the cool table, but still, it was very cool. It was just very neat. That I'm trying to think in France if I've met other famous people in France. I don't know that I have. I'd have to think about it. But it was just so sweet of him. Nice guy. just very nice guy. But as I said, I'm trying to think like other people. Hey, be nice, be nice. Hey, I'm trying to even think if I've seen famous people on the street in France. I know I've met interesting people in my life just because. I mean, that was random because it was in a restaurant in Paris. It's like it wasn't planned. But like I said, I can't recall now if I'd met other, like famous people on the streets of Paris. I don't think so. I'm surprised actually because I've spent enough time in Paris. But anyway, it's fun. Oh, Hard Rock is a dealer? I can imagine. Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. But yes, that was for ties because I can't really think of a Hey, okay, that hurt. Stop that. Are you crazy? Jesus Christ. Well, no, because the dog doesn't see well anymore. So whenever I put food near her, she makes a lunge for it because she doesn't see. And I think she's in this like, oh my God, like when she could see, she was better. Now that the vision's, a lot of it's gone, she's a lunatic going after my hand. It's like, Jesus Christ. All right. That was not nice of you. Danny DeVito you met? That's funny. Danny DeVito would be pretty funny. No, I've met interesting people over the years. That's for sure. I don't know that I'm very good about, I don't know what to say to the famous people I meet, but I can't think. I mean, I'm trying to even think of like other famous people I've met. God, I mean, there's a lot, but I mean, met as in actually got to talk to, you know what I mean? I'd have to really think about that. Actually, the one other really neat one was which I thought was neat because I really liked her. And I've got to reach out because I told her I wanted to have her on the show. During COVID, I developed this like brief friendship with Nia Vardalos, who did my Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? And she had Nia was the one who had the goat. She had the Greek goat, right? Oops. On Twitter, and I think I messaged and said like, where did you get that? And she goes, oh my God, it was on Amazon. What I don't recall is I was following her, and I don't know if maybe she messaged me privately on Twitter and said, oh, I got it on Amazon. Here's where I got it. Well, somehow we just struck up a conversation on Twitter and started chatting on Twitter, but like for hours. And it was this hours-long conversation. Because it was during COVID. Her father had just died. We talked about a lot of stuff. I'm not going to repeat any of it because I wouldn't. But it was a lot of really personal stuff. And I was very surprised because who am I? I'm just saying like, you're a star and you're sharing personal stuff. You never know. Right. But just lovely. And again, very sad because her father died during COVID. So she couldn't go back for the funeral in Canada because we weren't doing that back then. And she had to do it by video, which what a horrible thing to do. You know what I mean? A horrible thing to experience. Right. So just really neat. Anyway, that was probably one of the more personal, if anything, probably the most personal, maybe interaction with like a famous person. I think I'd have to think about it, but I think so. Very neat. Yeah. Like I said, she was just, I just thought she was lovely. I mean, again, all these people who don't live anywhere near, because I would have loved to meet her. People who don't live near here, so I don't ever see it because who comes to Washington? Oh, hey, Marco in Australia. But anyway. All right, guys, we're already at 7:15, so I'm going to probably wrap it up and go. Actually, this is another 85. It is warm out. I want to take the dog around the block. Oops, sorry, dog. What are you doing? Oh, you're over there. What are you doing, silly? I'm going to sort of take her around the block. And Michael, take her around the block and then at least get a little bit of that out of her system. But 85 is still a bit warm. Hopefully it's going to cool off a little bit. I've met big political. Well, the thing is, senators. I've met lots of senators and had conversations with them. That's a given. Oh, I told you the most interesting senatorial conversation I had was with Paul Wellstone. Because, and again, we could save that story for another night, the whole thing. But Paul Wellstone was a famous American senator. He died in a plane crash, Minnesota. Neat guy, very neat guy, very liberal, very earnest, very caring. And it was the highway bill. So whenever the highway bill was being debated in the early 1990s, it was every 5 years. So we could find the date. Working late in the Senate, it's like 11 o'clock at night or something. I'm going back to my office. I walked up to the trolley system to take you from the Capitol building to the Senate office building, like at 11 o'clock at night. And I walk up to the train. It's many cars. And I walked up, and I think I almost walked in the car and I said, "Oh, sorry, Senator." And I go to get in because, if the senator's sitting in a car, it's polite not to sit with them just because you leave them alone. And he said, No, that's okay. Come on, join me. I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." And I got in, and he was just very nice and friendly and asking who I was. And I don't know why I did it, but I told him, and I said, "Senator, I hope you don't think I'm, out of turn here, but you got to be really careful around here." I said, "This place is going to destroy you." I said, you are far too earnest and honest for this place, because that doesn't work here." I said, "It's great that you're doing it, but they're going to try to destroy you. And you need to know that." Because I had a very bad impression of the Senate. And he was asking me about it. And I told him why I was so disappointed in the place. And we get there. It takes like 3-5 minutes, whatever. We get there and he goes, "Well, I'm walking up to my office. Why don't you walk with me so we can keep talking?" I'm like, "Okay." We go and walk up to his office. We're standing outside the door. I must have talked to this guy for 20 minutes in the hallway. He's a senator. I mean, usually they're very busy. The nicest guy. And I can't, again, I should have gone and written it all down. You know what I mean? I just read, actually, I do remember. But the other thing I remember he said, he told me, and he goes, "The one thing I regret is that my parents couldn't see me." I believe he said his parents were emigres from Russia. I think it was his parents, not his grandparents, or one of his parents at least. Does somebody know his biography? But I vaguely remember him saying both of his parents came from Russia or something, and they would have just died seeing their son as a United States senator. And he said that was his big regret, that his parents couldn't see him, which again was such a sweet, you're trying to go out, was such a sort of sweet personal thing to say, there you go. Go. But also that's the kind of conversation we were having. I was having this incredible personal conversation with this really cool U.S. senator. It was very, I've like I said, it's funny because I sort of forget the experiences I've had. I've been very lucky to have interesting experience. I go through very bored and boring phases as well. Paul Wellstone of Minnesota. I've gone through very boring phases as well, but it's really neat. It's just, and again, I never told anybody the detail. I don't remember the details now, but at the time I never told anybody because I just don't think that's appropriate. As far as the work I do, Washington, et cetera, unless you're a bad person and telling me something really bad, I'm not going to tell someone. You know what I mean? I just think that's not appropriate, but such a neat guy. He's just such a neat guy, maybe. Oh, okay. She was wanting to come in. Maybe not. Got to keep an eye on the girl there. Anyway, guys. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight. Ty, if you're still there, thank you. That was crazy. I forgot. That's how we got into these stories. Thank you very much. That was crazy generous. I really do appreciate it. And I do think it's fun for everybody too, because it's fun because we don't see gifts. I don't see gifts like that. We don't see gifts like that. So I think for people in the audience, it's kind of fun too. I live in DC. Yep. Make sure the dog's okay. You want to come in? Oh, okay. Come on in. You want to come in? No. Oh, maybe not. All right. She doesn't see too well, so I've always got to kind of keep an eye on her. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you again. Exactly. Everybody thank Ty in TikTok. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to take her. Yeah, me. Exactly, Poppy. You'll be telling people about me someday. Cute. All right, guys. Have a good night. Oops. Oh, there she is. Okay, come on in. Okay, there you go. Good job. All right. Oops. There we go. All right. I'm going to start. Oh, the sports minister outside his flat in London, Paula says. I work upstairs. I told him to look where he was going. Oh, didn't know who he was at the time. I was only 19. That's funny. That's funny. Well, I told you, remember the other time was when the FBI director, old FBI director Sessions or whatever, was walking into a restaurant in DC. And I was a famous restaurant on Pennsylvania Avenue next to the Navy Memorial. There was a well-known restaurant that a lot of power people like to go 15 years ago, maybe. And I'm waiting there. I was dressed okay. And I'm waiting there for a friend, big lobbyist guy. Not even a lobbyist. It was a big, anyway, Trevor Potter. People, I can certainly say it was Trevor. Trevor, who, Republican, good Republican, though. He was John McCain's finance chair for John McCain's presidential run. Trevor was on the FCC. Very well-known guy, great guy. And I'm waiting for Trevor. And I think I don't know why I didn't sit first. I mean, for whatever reason, I was waiting up front for Trevor. And Bill Sessions, I think was his name, the FBI director, walks in and quite literally throws me his overcoat and walks away. And I looked at him and I said, excuse me, Mr. Director. I said, I'm having lunch with a friend. I'm not the coat boy. And he goes, oh, sorry. And he grabs his coat back and walks away. But I thought it was the funniest thing. The FBI director walks in and throws me his overcoat thinking I'm the coat boy at a really nice restaurant in DC. And at that point, by the way, I'm probably like 40 years old. So I am not a boy at this point anyway. And he thinks I'm like it was very funny. I know, trust me, there was a part of me that was like, I literally in my head, the lawyer in me went, he gave me his jacket. He gave it to me. I was tempted to leave and go, you know what? I've got the FBI director's jacket. This is kind of cool. But then of course, steal the FBI director's jacket. You're probably going to jail for a long time. But in my head, I'm going, he gave it to me. And can you imagine telling the jury and going, he gave me his coat. But I love that. I was like, excuse me, Mr. Director. I said, director said, because I knew who he was. Director Sessions, I said, I'm not the coat boy. I'm having lunch with someone. Oh. And by the way, too, he also was not like super apologetic. The appropriate response is, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Right? No. He was like, oh, and like took it back. Yeah, thanks, asshole. Anyway, yeah, I have had funny experiences in town. This is very true. All right. Discord, have a good night. Substack and everybody, you're next. They are fun stories. All right, guys. I'll see you, YouTube, and everybody else.